I'm sharing this with you to help open your eyes and expand your consciousness and help you see into the darker side of healing, the darker side of what's going on with these esoteric arts. We got to come together as a human race in our full divinity. You're amazing. Go and be amazing. So today we're going to dive into the darker side of healing. We're going to dive into the lower vibrational side of life, the world, this multi-dimensional game of chess that we're playing day in, day out, 24/7, 365. If you don't like listening to things that are evil, not very nice, then turn this video off now. So many people ask me questions about this work because in Star Magic we deal with what we call shadow parasites. We do a lot of satanic ritual abuse clearing. We deal with entities, demonic forces, anything and everything to do with spiritual warfare and the siphoning of energy in a myriad of ways from different beautiful souls, human beings on this planet. People come to us for help. So we've seen so much as a team, me personally as an individual human, and some of this stuff is crazy. You think, how do people even bring themselves to do this? Who even thinks of this stuff? It's crazy. So I remember a few years ago, I had a lady that I was working with and she was in the Amish community. And for those of you that don't know, after the Second World War, the Nazis came to America and really infiltrated the Amish community. And the stuff that goes on within that community is crazy. I had this lady and she'd been pregnant a number of times. She was pregnant and about 6-7 months into the term, they cut the baby out from her womb when the baby was alive. And they put the baby on a barbecue and they cooked it. And this lady who was my client had to eat the baby. They did this to her several times. They raped her, they did all sorts of abuse. I mean, it's horrific. And, you know, imagine being a female that's endured that. You know, how do you overcome that? How do you get through that? I mean, that takes some serious work. I had another lady, a very, very famous lady, whose parents owned 2 chiropractic clinics. They're closed down now. But this lady, as a child, was brought into one of these chiropractic clinics into the basement, and she was strung up on cattle hooks, like in her back. They cut her open, put the cattle hooks in, and hung her. She was hung up. They cut a hole in her kidneys, and then a man would put his penis in her mouth, so she couldn't breathe through her mouth. The only way she could breathe while she was giving this man a blowjob was through the hole in her kidneys. She was laid down. There were men all around this circular entrance above the basement, all masturbating, all of that semen dripping on her. Imagine, it's hard to imagine that anyone would even think of doing something like that. That is evil. I remember 2018 when Prince Louis was born, Kate and William's son. Now, there was a baby that was born about a year earlier in Liverpool Hospital, and this baby was carrying the soul of a very famous biblical character. You see, there are forces at work that know how to track souls coming into this human realm so that they can take control of certain souls. And when baby Alfie, this beautiful little soul, this beautiful little boy that was born in Liverpool Hospital, he was born in 2016. He died in 2018, around the time that baby Louis was born. This child, baby Alfie, was carrying a very specific soul. And so the Vatican had sent 13 witches. They traveled through Ireland on their way to Liverpool to do a soul transference. Now, baby Alfie had got some kind of brain, some neurodegenerative disease. Now, it didn't happen naturally. He was injected in the hospital with some chemicals, and slowly his brain was deteriorating, and his mum and his dad were, it was all over the newspapers. They wanted to fly him. They were appealing to the Vatican, to the Pope, to interfere, to intervene, and take this baby to a top doctor in Italy. The police surrounded the hospital, wouldn't let the mum and dad take the baby out of the hospital. I mean, that seems a bit weird, doesn't it? Why would the police stop a mum and dad trying to save their baby's life? Well, they wanted to do that because they wanted to keep the baby at the hospital so that when baby Louis was born, they were going to transfer the soul from little baby Alfie Evans into baby Louis. And so the 13 witches were on their way from the Vatican through Ireland to Liverpool. But there was a very specific team, okay, a physical team and an esoteric team that were put in place to stop this happening. And the soul, which was Samuel, was sent back to the stars. This soul is now incarnated in another body, and they managed to get that through unseen, which was beautiful. So now that powerful soul is back on planet Earth doing what it needs to do, to help with ascension, to help recode the mathematics of humanity and all of these beautiful things that we're doing as a great big human team. I'm sharing this with you to help open your eyes and expand your consciousness and help you see into the darker side of healing, the darker side of what's going on with these esoteric arts. We've seen so much in star magic, we've experienced so much, and there are so many beautiful teams on this planet doing this work. And I commend everyone that's brave enough to step into this. You know, there are so many men, women, children that go through some horrific circumstances. If you go to our website, starmagichealing.org, there are some testimonials of people speaking about this. There's one lady on there that speaks about when she was around 2 years old and she was in a Masonic lodge, and she was playing with a boy who was 2 years old, and they cut the 2-year-old boy's head off in front of her. They buried her in a coffin with snakes and spiders under the ground for 2 days. They brought her out of that coffin, and she was raped by 30-odd men in black robes over and over. How do you get over something like that? Imagine as a child seeing a little boy or a little girl that you're playing with have their head cut off in front of you with a knife. It's disgusting. But they traumatize children like that. They rape children at young ages. This happened to me to initiate the Kundalini, and when the Kundalini fires up through the spinal column into the base of the cranium, it fractures the base of the cranium, and then they can create split personalities, and they can turn children as they grow up into assassins, into whatever tool they need them to be. So they can switch from one personality to another. And it's why sometimes people go into schools, they shoot a load of people, go into a hotel, shoot a load of people, and then they switch them to another personality and they can't remember doing it. I had a guy that I was working with in Romania recently, and he kept hearing voices in his head. And they told him that they were running programs and he was a test case, that they were going into people's consciousness through a computer system, just punching numbers in and having communications with people through their biological computers, their body and brains. They were getting them to get addicted to pornography. And through the pornography, when they were masturbating, certain demons were coming in through their crayons and taking over their bodies. And they were creating an army of humans that were addicted or are addicted to pornography. And once the demon's inside, they can drain their energy, they can control their thoughts, their emotions, different things. This is going on right now. We are in a spiritual war. We've been in a spiritual war for a very long time. Now, this information that I'm sharing with you, you shouldn't be scared of this information, but you should be aware of this information. You know, if you get attacked spiritually, sometimes it can feel very physical. Sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's emotional. There are different circumstances. You've got to stay in high humor, you've got to stay in laughter, you've got to stay in love, you've got to stay in joy. Because when you're on those frequencies, it's very difficult for a lower vibrational force to come in and take over your consciousness. You know, we call these beings shadow parasites because they behave like parasites. You get parasites in the jungle that take over the consciousness of caterpillars, and they make the caterpillars climb to the top of the tallest tree. And once they get to the top of the tallest tree, they explode, and all of the juices go over the leaves and the branches, and more caterpillars eat it. Then it takes over their consciousness. They go to the top of the tallest tree and explode. And that's how the parasite expands. Parasites work inside people's bodies. They work externally. Sometimes in the field, sometimes from spaceships, underground bases. This game is vast. And it is a game, and you've got to play the game. You can't be scared of the game. You've got to lean into the game, know the rules of the game, and play it like a Jedi. You've got to be a master of dark and light. You can't run from the darkness. You can't play in the light. You've got to be on the 0 point, balancing both sides of the spectrum, having mastery over the whole game. That's when you exercise your full divinity and your full superhuman potential. We've all got darkness and light inside of us. Some of us master our energy and decide how we're going to use the power, how we're going to fuel our reality fields. Are we going to move through darkness or light? Or are we going to balance both and be truly powerful? Because there's power in the light and there's power in the darkness. But when you play on one side, you're only half full. Some people go into the darkness and can't handle it, and they get manipulated and overthrown, and they become influenced in a major way. Some people move into the light and they get influenced in the light, and they're too much love and light, and they get influenced in a different way. But we are Jedis, alchemists, witches, wizards, powerful beings, quantum architects. We have the power to recode and re-engineer our own mathematics and step into our full divinity. And all of these things that I've been sharing with you, as I said, not to scare you, to put you into fear, but to help you realize that there is a spiritual war going on. And I get asked so many of these questions, and to answer them all is crazy, but to make a video and just to share it is a better way of getting this information out there. So stay in your heart, breathe deeply, exercise, intermittent fasting, meditation, light language, qigong, stay in the 0 point. Stay away from drugs, stay away from alcohol, stay away from shitty movies, stay away from people that are going to drain you. Make sure that everything that is in your space is pure. And that includes technology, that includes people, that includes anything that you're putting into your system, whether you're reading something. Make sure that what you're reading is high frequency information. I've had people that have watched porn channels and they've been encoded through the pornography, through the symbolism, and it activates their internal mechanics and their biological computer gets taken over. There's trickery and magic everywhere, and some of it isn't good magic, some of it is black. There is a black pope, a powerful Jesuit general that controls this planet, that puts orders in to send 13 witches to transfer the soul of a beautiful baby that had nothing wrong with it into the elite, the royal family. These things happen, but we need to know that we're just as powerful as that black pope, royal, Jesuit, general, evil, soulless man, soulless being, should I say. Can't even call him a man. If you take a deep dive into your heart, you'll know who you are. You'll know what you are. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. You're from the stars, you're galactic, you're extraterrestrial. You're running off a mathematical code where your full potential is not in full flow right now. Your mathematics are wrong. Your pineal gland's tiny. Your body's tiny. Your light body isn't fully functioning. But when we tune into the right frequencies and we play our bodies, which are musical instruments, when we play them with the right musical harmonics, we can adjust that template and regain the stature of our former selves when we used to play on other planets, on other stars, when we were massive, when we could bilocate in our Merkaba fields. Just like that, when we could communicate telepathically at ease, when we could create from the empty space anything in a heartbeat, just like that. We're moving back to those times, those spaces. It's happening right now. But in the meantime, just know that we're in a spiritual war. Love, devotion, calmness, focus, precision, wisdom, knowledge, compassion, kindness. All of these qualities are mission critical. Strength, courage, unity. We got to come together as a human race in our full divinity, knowing who we are, and then coming together as powerhouses. There's so many of us on this planet. When we come together as powerhouses, with us full superhuman potential activated, we are an army, a soul army, a galactic army here on Earth, and no one can fuck with us. That's the truth. So take a deep dive into your heart and discover who and what you truly are. Activate that diamond spark. Plug yourself in through the Aramatina gateway to the God worlds and access those primary light and sound fields, those God source intelligence frequencies. Your own geometrical code is there for the taking, for the reorganizing, for the re-engineering, but no one else can do it for you. You got to make that decision, beautiful soul. Wherever you are on planet Earth, go out into the world and hug your sisters and brothers fiercely and ferociously. Hug them tightly and never be the first to let go. It's the golden rule of hugging. We're powerful. Speak your truth. Live your truth. And don't give a flying you know what. Play this game. Make up your own rules. And love every second. Smile. Have fun. Be like a little kid. Be the genius that you are. And remember to check out our website, starmagichealing.org. We got some of the best ascension tools on planet Earth. Hundreds of guided meditations, light language transmissions, light codes to re-engineer your light body, activate your kundalini, switch on your third eye, activate that right hemisphere, the female brain, alchemize the hemispheres into one, and turn that corpus callosum into liquid plasma so you can fully activate. We've got private Telegram groups so you can connect with beautiful souls just like you on the same vibration, on this same ascension mission to make the world a better place. Got cosmic yoga, high frequency nutrition, mystery school teachings on all different subjects and topics. You're amazing. Go and be amazing. I love you so much as my sister or my brother. One love, one heart, one human family. Peace out, beautiful soul.